So last class we have discussed uh, sup- supercharging, turbocharging, and some. Okay, this concept we have discussed last class. The supercharging and turbocharging generally we are using to increase the power output. How we are increasing the power output? By sending more amount of air at high pressures. Okay. So generally most of the cars we find turbochargers. Turbocharging means turbochargers. Generally we can call it as a turbo. Okay. Next, today we are going to discuss oil pumps, filters, and crankcase ventilation. Okay. These, if permits, we will discuss drives, front wheel drive and back wheel drive. Okay. So first we'll start discussing oil pump. So generally, uh, this oil pump, we are using so many pumps in the automobiles, especially in the engine, to increase the pressure of the oil or to circulate the lubrication oil. Okay, for pumping purpose, generally we use oil pumps. Okay, so oil pump is used to pressurize the oil and circulate it to the different parts of the engine in case of a lubrication. It is generally driven by a gear or camshaft. This oil pump, how it pump means it requires power. Here, so this pumps, it takes power from the camshaft. So there are different types of pumps: gear pump, rotor pump, and plunger type pump. Okay. So it depends upon the costing and various features in different engines. We use different types of oil pumps. Now we'll see one by one. So this gear pump is very popular pump we find in most of the engines. Okay, so this from outside if it seems to be some box like structure, but inside there are two gears. The two gears are housed with very tight fitting. One side there is inlet, other side outlet. Okay, so among these two gears, so one gear is connected to the shaft. So and it takes power from from this gear. So one gear it acts as a drive gear, another gear will act as a driven gear. Okay, and this is a pump shaft. Another one is a fixed shaft. So once if you rotate the one gear, another gear automatically it rotates. Okay, so this gear pump had two outlets. One is one inlet and another one is outlet. Through inlet, it takes oil from the sump, it takes lubricating oil from the sump, and it increases the pressure, and the pressurized oil will send to the outlet. Okay, so here how it increases the pressure means, so first once it enters once it enters into this oil pump, so first here in the first diagram if you observe, first it occupies the left portion of this gear, and the top gear is rotating clockwise and the bottom gear it is rotating anti-clockwise. Okay, so slowly this oil through this gear portions, it occupies in the gear portions and it rotates. So when it is rotating along this gear, what happens means there will be energy transfer from the gear to this oil, and again it comes out with kinetic energy. It comes out to the outlet portion at a high, and here outer casing, what happens means first kinetic energy increases. After that, this kinetic energy is converted as a pressure energy. This is a divergent portion. In the divergent portion, what happens means the kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy. At high pressure, again, the oil will be delivered from the outlet, like this. So first, okay, the low pressure oil enters. So when it is rotating along with the gear, what happens means there will be energy transfer. Again, here again the kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy, and pressure energy at high pressure the oil will be delivered to the various parts of the engine. So this is the working principle of gear type oil pump. So it is this gear type oil pump. It is made up of two spur gears. Okay. So these gears you can call it as spur gears. So these gears called as spur gears. In mesh and place it in a cast iron body. The outer body is a cast iron body. One gear is driven by a camshaft and other is idle. So once if you rotate the one gear, another gear automatically it rotates. When gears rotate, the oil is entrapped between the gear teeth and casing. The oil is transported from inlet to the outlet. This is close fit between the gears and casing between gears. Hence there will not be any leak from outlet to inlet. Okay. So like this. So in the gear pump we can increase the pressure of the oil. There is another type called rotor type oil pump. So this is a little bit difficult to understand. So this is also a box type structure. Inside there will be rotors. Rotor means a rotating body. Rotor means a rotating body. Over that there will be a small vane-like structure will be there. So here there are two rotors, inner rotor and outer rotor. Okay, and inner rotor is okay. So inner rotor and outer rotor. For inner rotor, here you can see the outside one is called as inner rotor. So here the inner side one is called as outer rotor. Okay. So for inner rotor, the shape of the inner rotor is outside there will be a lobes. Lobes means a curved portion. For inner rotor, what happens means inside there will be a curved portion. Inside there will be a curved portion. So this inner rotor and outer rotor rotates simultaneously with some phase difference. First oil enters into the inlet and it enters into the inlet chamber. So when it is rotating from the inner rotor to it transported to the outer rotor. From the outer rotor it comes to the outer chamber. From the outer chamber it will be delivered at a high pressure. Okay, like this the rotor type oil pump it works. This rotor type oil pump, this pump has two rotors. Okay, so in gear pump there are two gears. In rotor pump there are two rotors. One is inner and other is outer. The outer rotor has lobes. Lobes means a curved portion is called as a lobe. The outer rotor has lobes on the inner surface. It is housed in the body. The inner rotor has a lobes in the outer surface. It is driven by the camshaft. The outer rotor has number of lobes, one more than the inner rotor. So this is important point. So the outer rotor has number of lobes, one more than the inner rotor. The axis of rotation of the rotors are different. It's not same axis. So it causes the size of the space between them to vary. When inner rotor rotates, it causes outer rotor to rotate along with it. Okay. So it means that if you rotate the one rotor, other rotor automatically it rotates. The space between the lobes reduces in the rotation, and oil is compressed and discharged to the outlet. So this will be the working principle for the rotor type oil pump. There is another type oil pump is called plunger type oil pump. So if you observe in this diagram, plunger means something like a piston type. So this one is called as a plunger. This one is called as a plunger. So from the bottom it is connected to the oil sump. In oil sump there will be a complete lubricating oil. Okay. Okay, when the plunger it moves up, okay, this is the outlet. This will be the inlet and this will be the outlet. Okay, so this is outlet. So when the plunger moves up, what happens means here there is a valve is there, valve opens and the oil enters. When the plunger is coming down, so due to this pressure, this valve will be closed, oil will be compressed, and the compressed oil enter into the outlet line, and this valve will be closed at high pressure, it will be discharged. So this is very simple mechanism than compared to the previous two. Okay, so like this the plunger type oil pump works. So like this oil pumps generally we use for pumping of lubricating oil to the various parts of the engine. There are three types of oil pumps. So gear type oil pump, rotor type oil pump, and plunger type oil pump we have discussed. So next topic is oil filters. So when we are pumping the oils to the various parts, first of all we have to filter the oil. So if there is any dust means we have to remove the dust, and that clean oil only we have to pump and to the various parts of the engine for lubrication. So here what are the dust particles we can find? Means carbon deposits. So carbon deposits means after burning of the fuel there will be carbon will be formed. This carbon again will mix with the lubricating oil. There will be some dust particles, dirt means some wear and tear, there will be some dust will be created, and metal fillings may mix with the oil in the sump. Okay, like this whatever the lubricating oil is available in the sump, it is mixed with so many deposits. So the same deposits if you pump means it causes more wear and tear. It causes serious wear in the bearings, piston and cylinder and other components. That's why we have to remove these dust particles. For that purpose we have to use filters. These filters are called as oil filters. So generally for servicing, if you for four-wheelers, if you go means every servicing they replace the oil filter. Okay. So there are two types of filters will be there again. There will be air filters and oil filters. Air filter is connected to the inlet pipe of the engine, and oil filter is connected to the sump for cleaning of lubricating oil. There are two types of filters. In the oil filter itself again there are two types. There are primary and secondary filters. Primary filter is also known as a strainer, so which filters bigger particles matter. The strainer, bigger particles will be removed. Generally it is made up of a float in sump oil. Okay, a strainer means something it seems to be a float. It is immersed into the sump oil, so bigger size particles will be removed there. And secondary filters are two types. One is full flow type, and other is bypass type. Okay, the secondary filters, the secondary filters are main filters. It removes the major dust particles, that is very very minor dust particles, before sending to the pump. Secondary filters are made up of felt paper, plastic impregnated paper, etc. These elements are replaceable and used to filter out finer particles. We'll see. So this is a secondary filter. This is a secondary filter, and this will be a primary filter. So this will be a primary filter, a strainer, and this will be a secondary filter. Okay. So this portion is a secondary filter. First, So oil pump, it takes the lubricating oil and it pumps to the when it is pumping, in between we arrange a filter. So this black line indicates that this is a impure oil. When it enters into the filter, this the dust particles are removed and the clean oil will pump to this engine bearings and for lubrication for different parts of the engine. So this is called full flow filter system. In full flow filter system, so there is a complete directly the fuel is pumped to the, the lubricating oil is pumped to the filter completely. In the full flow system, all the oil from the pump is sent through the filter before entering to the parts of the lubrication. This is a direct pumping. The oil is drawn from the sump through the strainer to the pump, where the oil is pressurized and sent to the oil filter. Relief valve is used to regulate the pressure. So here there is a regulating valve. This pressure regulating valve will use to regulate the pressure of the pumping. After the oil has been filtered, it is sent to the main oil line to the parts of the requiring for lubrication. The abrasives are removed from the oil by the filter. Okay. So sometimes what happens means filters, if it is blocked, we have to remove the filter. So sometimes what happens means there is a blockage of filter if servicing is not done properly and frequently. So if servicing we are not done properly, what happens means filter may block. If the filter blocks means what happens means, so it cannot pump the oil. Once it cannot pump the lubricating oil means the bearings may get damaged. Once bearings get damaged means crankshaft and piston get damaged. When these two gets damaged means the blocking of the blocking and seizing of the piston takes place and total engine gets failed. Okay, that's why. So frequently we should replace the filters. There is another system, bypass filter system. In case of a bypass filter system, so there is a bypass valve. Bypass valve is there. So it's very similar to the full flow system only, but there is a bypass valve. So if you want to replace the oil with the help of the bypass valve, we can replace the oil. See. Bypass valve, which is usually located in the filter, opens and flows unfiltered oil to move into the main line. So this is a bypass filter system. Okay. Pressure regulating valve. It is quite that the products of combustion contains. Okay. So when the fuel is burning inside the combustion chamber, okay, carbon becomes carbon dioxide, hydrogen becomes water, and nitrogen cannot burn. It will be as it is like this. So what happens means this nitrogen, water and carbon dioxides. So some parts of this nitrogen, water, carbon dioxide through the piston rings, it leaks into this. It enters into the crankcase. Okay. So these gases, nitrogen, water, and carbon dioxide, it enters into the crankcase and it mixes with the lubricating oil. So here what happens means, in crankcase there will be some small holes will be there. So through these holes, these gases may leave this crankcase. So this is called as crankcase ventilation. This is very important concept. Crankcase ventilation. Crankcase ventilation means leaving of some burnt gases. Burnt gases means nitrogen, water, and carbon dioxide from the some part from the crankcase is called as crankcase ventilation. So the crankcase ventilation is used in all automotive engines. What it means it consists of passing through the crankcase a constant stream of air which picks up and carries away the most of the fuel vapor and water vapor before they condense into the dilute lubricating oil. What happens means, there will be a crankcase. Crankcase means bottom portion of the engine is called crankcase. Bottom portion of the engine is called crankcase. So inside also there will be some gases will be there. So here there will be a small hole will be there at the top of the crankcase. Air enters through the hole and it takes the gases and again it comes out. Okay, like this, taking away these burnt gases like nitrogen, water, and carbon dioxide. Taking away these gases from the crankcase is called as crankcase ventilation. Okay, so taking away these gases from this crankcase is called as crankcase ventilation. So if it is not taken away by this air, what happens means these gases will condense and it spoils the lubricating oil. Air is drawn into the crankcase through the breather cap. So there will be at top of the crankcase there will be a small cap is there. Through this cap air enters and discharged through a outlet tube at the side of the engine. So there will be some outlet tube is there. Through the outlet tube these gases will be sent out. There are two types of crankcase ventilations are used in automobile engines. We'll see. There are two types of okay, there is one is closed or positive crankcase ventilation. Another one is okay. So here we are discussing only. So this is a engine. So this is engine. This is the bottommost portion of the engine. Okay, and here there is a breather chamber. Breather means breathing. That is taking inside and outside. So just like for human, how nose it helps us for breathing. Here also, so this is a breather cap. So through this cap, it takes the air from the atmosphere. Again, it sends the gases to outside also. So since this is an engine, it's a piston. So from the combustion chamber, there will be small gases enters into the crankcase. Okay, so this gases, air enters through this breather cap, and this air it removes all the burnt gases. Okay, so that is one way. And another way here sometimes what happens means, so this cap is directly connected to the inlet pipe. So these burnt gases directly it will be taken to the inlet pipe, and here this burnt gases will be connected to the inlet pipe, and again this burnt gases mix with the air and again it goes to the engine. Like this, if there is any unburnt fuel, the unburnt fuel again we can burn. Like this, the crankcase ventilation also we can use to increase the air mass flow. So in positive crankcase ventilation, the crankcase vapors are returned to the engine through the inlet manifold instead of being exhausted to the atmosphere. See, so here these gases is directly connected to the inlet pipe. So the unburnt gases directly it is mixed with the air, again sent to the engine, and again burning takes place. The crankcase outlet tube is connected to the inlet manifold. Just breathe the carburetor, so that vapors are drawn into the manifold and utilized for cylinder during the combustion. Okay, like this gases again we can use for burning. So now we have discussed oil pumps. There are three types of oil pumps: gear pump, rotor pump, and plunger type pump. And filters we have discussed. What is meant by filter? What are the different types of filters? And the very important concept is crankcase ventilation. This crankcase ventilation is very, very important. What is meant by crankcase ventilation means taking away the burnt gases from the crankcase. Crankcase means bottom of the engine. In bottom of the engine also there will be some gases will be there. These gases we have to take outside. So that taking away these burnt gases to outside is called as a crankcase ventilation. So why we should take means if you should not take it or take it outside, it will be mixed with the lubricating oil and it gets spoiled by the lubricating oil. That is called crankcase ventilation. Okay. Next very important topic is drive system. Okay. Drive system is connecting the engine or gearbox to the wheels is called as a drive system. Drive system means connecting the engine or gearbox to the wheels. So here how he is defined: a drive system is an automobile is used to transfer power from engine to the wheels. So transfer power from engine to the wheels is called drive system. So without a drive system the automobile cannot run or it will not be useful. Okay. And proper drive systems plays very important for good grip of the vehicle to the ground to enable smooth handling and better efficiency of the vehicle. This drive system, it provides good grip. Okay. So at low speeds the grip will be good. At low speeds the grip is good. At very high speeds the grip will be less. Why grip is good at low speeds? At low speeds what happens means more amount of torque will be available. Okay. Like this, it depends upon the drive system. Okay, we can get grip of the vehicle. Okay, and better efficiency. Now we will see what are the different types of drive system. There will be rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, and four wheel drive. This four wheel drive again we will call as all wheel drive. So there are three types of drive systems. Rear wheel drive we observe in buses, lorries, and some jeeps also. We can observe rear wheel drive. So front wheel drive we can observe in cars. Okay, and four wheel drive we can observe in some military vehicles. Okay. So regarding these drive systems, we will discuss in the next class, because the rear wheel drive we want to discuss the rear wheel drive means, so in rear axle there will be a differential mechanism is there. Okay, there will be a set of gears. These gears are called as a sun gears or differential gears. Okay, so these gears are connected to the axles, backside rear axles. So how this power is transmitted between these gears, that we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Any doubts?
The plunger and sir.
Plunger means it's something like a piston type. It's not a piston,
Okay.
but with the help of the reciprocation, we can pump the oil.
Okay.
ప్లంజర్ పైకి మూవ్ అయినప్పుడు ఆయిల్ లోపలికి వస్తుంది, కిందకి మూవ్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ వాల్వ్ క్లోజ్ అయ్యి ఆయిల్ పంప్ అవుతుంది.
Okay.
So today whatever we have discussed, the very important concept is crankcase ventilation. క్రాంకేస్ వెంటిలేషన్ అంటే క్రాంకేస్ అంటే ఇంజిన్ కింద బాటంలో కూడా కొంత ఆయిల్, కొంత గ్యాసెస్ వస్తాయి. ఆ గ్యాసెస్ని బయటకు పంపించడాన్ని క్రాంకేస్ వెంటిలేషన్ అంటారు. ఓకే, అవి బయటకు పంపించకపోతే ఏమవుతుంది అంటే అవి లూబ్రికేటింగ్ ఆయిల్ మిక్స్ అయిపోతాయి, లూబ్రికేటింగ్ ఆయిల్ పాడైపోతుంది. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్.